Do you know what I like to do when I stir up some controversy? I like to look at some baseball cards. Alright, so I just watched my friend Rick, Vintage Oddball Cards video, talking about his channel name and Vintage Oddball Cards, or Oddball Cards. So, I often give my opinion. Not that it matters. I just share my opinion. But I often give my opinion on, terms I don't like or things I don't like. And, of course, Oddball Cards is one of them. And so I mentioned it again. And I wake up this weekend and I see my man Orlando from A Collector's Dream is walking around, doing his usual walk around live stream. And he had taken what I said about oddball not being a good term and had a whole topic on that. And I always bust Rick's chops about he should change his name. Of course, I know he's not going to change his name. And so Orlando was was taking that a little further. And so Rick did a response today. And I just wanted to talk about this. First, for the record, Rick's wife hates the term oddball. Let's just get that right out there. So, I've been in this hobby for a very long time. And it's clear to me, and to everybody on here, that if you started collecting during COVID, you know way more than I do. I mean, come on. What do I know? I know nothing. All the experts were born during COVID, and you guys are always telling me why I'm crazy. In fact, Victor, the rookie card specialist, just mentioned that one of these newer breakers actually said he wishes we would all die because they don't like our opinions. A lot of us older guys are cynical, and we've been around the block, and we know PSA grades fake shit, and we know they grade altered shit. I mean, they've been caught, and they still do it. And so when we speak out, people born into that and chasing those tens to make that bank get triggered, man. They don't want to hear that stuff. They were born during COVID. They have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And they know more than we do. They know more than we do. They sell newsletters and tell us, what to invest in and so forth. But that brings me back to my oddball thing. By the way, what a horrible, horrible human being would wish that we all died because we must affect his hobby so dramatically. I mean, what a horrible human being. What a horrible thing to say. What is wrong with this hobby today? I mean, we just attract the most unscrupulous and terrible human beings, I think. I mean, who would say such a thing? What a loser. So, back to my oddball thing. And listen, who cares? It's my opinion. And like I said, all you newbies, you know more than I do. So it's just my opinion. So it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a deal. I share opinions all the time. You guys do too. And it's just this phenomenon where if you disagree with something, you get triggered these days. And that's just the way it is. It's social media. It's a new world. Just go fly on a plane and see how combative people are today. All right, so let's delve into this a little further. I'm just gonna further this point a little bit. So let's see, what is the definition of an oddball? First of all, an oddball is usually used to describe a person, and it's somebody that's eccentric. But it can be used to describe other things. So, what is it? It's a person or thing that is atypical, bizarre, eccentric, or non-conforming. All right, so what are some of the synonyms for oddball? Let's see here. We have kook, fruitcake, nutcase, oddity, weirdo, crackbrain, flake, headcase, nut, screwball, and zany. Is that what you think of your cards? So I started to think about this because cards were produced decades and decades before Topps ever existed, before Bowman ever started making cards. So what is a regular card and what is an oddball card? I mean, what is it exactly? Is anything that's not a regular size Topps an oddball? Is a 1952 Topps or a 1955 Bowman an oddball? Or is it just anything that's not made by the top card companies over the years? Topps, Bowman, Gaudy, anything other than them an oddball? Let's get to the bottom of it. You guys tell me. I'll show you cards, and you tell me if they're oddballs. Is this an oddball because it's a goofy size? How about E-cards? Are they oddball? How about this? Is this an oddball? Is this an oddball? Is this an oddball? Is this an oddball? It's not normal size. This certainly isn't normal size. Is that an oddball? Is that an oddball? Is that an oddball? That's a weird size. Is this an oddball? How about this? This has got to be an oddball. Oh, another oddball. Another oddball. Definitely an oddball. 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 Is this an oddball? Is this an oddball? Is this an oddball? Is this an oddball? How about this? This has got to be an oddball. 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 This is an oddball, right? This is an oddball. This is an oddball. This is oversized. This has to be an oddball. This is an oddball. 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 Definitely an oddball. 58 hires root beer. My point is this. How can what we would call oddballs be oddballs when there's more of them than there are the normal cards? I mean, there are thousands of cards you would call an oddball, and by definition, it's got to be an oddity. It's got to be out of the ordinary. So, how can oddballs be the majority of the hobby? At least of the vintage hobby. How can they be the majority that goes against its very own definition? But that said, it's collecting. It's supposed to be fun. We all have opinions, so what? You can think I'm a kook. You can wish that I would die so that you can do your breaks and do your scanners and get all your subs and make your bank, and I can leave you alone and I can't point out anything. That's okay. That's okay. Someday I will, and you'll have the hobby all to yourself. Thanks for hanging out with me.